is the family I was talking about, and that is the projector which was installed 25, 30 years ago, I should say, because I was not here. And all of us he treated us as children, I should say. And this was taken just before we dismantled the old projector last year in the month of March, exactly a year ago. And then soon after this, that was brought down, and now we have a new projector and new hybrid projector system. So this is one thing. And so I have written here 1989 journey begins. But what I have heard from people and from him sometimes mentioning about it is that the work began much earlier than that. So they he was appointed as a director maybe in 87 December or 88 early part. So he was given an empty building, and then everything in the building he had to manage, including the people and the laborers and the machine and the furniture. So that is where it stood, and he managed everything. And this was on the day of inauguration, so he is cheerful and happily addressing the gathering that the planetarium is at last inaugurated. So looking at the pace at which the things happen in the corporation, Bangalore City Corporation, you can all imagine what was the plight we had to undergo during the execution of this and completion of this project. And the first program that was produced was Our Son and His Family. That was the title. And he had a team of people who had never seen a planetarium before. So he had to work with them. And then I think it was for the first time that such a production was being done in India. The other 3 or 4 planetariums managed on giving live shows. So nobody bothered about adding any visuals or any theme or any such thing. It was to the mercy of the speaker. He would give a talk effectively, and recorded shows were not the order of the day. But he, with the handful of people who were totally new to this field, he managed the shows. So Pramod is here, he knows the difficulties he had when he hardly knew what the stars were. So from that day, so he got slide projectors to add to the effect with the artworks, beautiful artworks. For that he identified Chandranath Acharya. And then he got the music specially composed for this, and some part of the recording was done here and some were in Chennai. So Pramod tells me how difficult it was that they had to go all the way by train to Chennai. From the railway station straight, they had to go to the recording and manage the moods of the artists and get the thing recorded at the middle of the night and then come back with the spool. That was the kind of recording devices they had. And then there were special effect projectors that were available with the Zeiss machine. So whatever special effects were provided, for example, the meteor showers or eclipses, such things which were part of the machine, they were effectively used. And then he also told them to create some special effects with a simple motor and a slide projector, and creating some kind of a movement of things that should happen on the dome. So this was a total new experiment, and he succeeded, and that was a very beautiful program. And we had repeated it subsequently on several occasions because there was a great demand for that program. And then the cartoons. He got special cartoons created for these things, and Mr. Pujari is here. He is going to tell you how the cartoons were made. And I am also going to show some of these sample cartoons which he prepared. They all added to the content, and so he made the whole thing look so simple and so moving. And the appreciation that we got was from none other than Chandrasekhar and his family. So this was one of the old photographs, as you can see, when he visited, and he recorded in the visitor's book that this was one of the best shows he had seen in the planetarium. So after the first program ran for about a year or so, he worked on several more themes. So the choice of the theme, he taught us how to select a particular theme to suit the medium of the planetarium communication. And so we made several programs, and making each program was a great lesson for us. He taught us the intricate details of making the program very attractive, at the same time conveying the science completely to the audience so that they don't sleep. That was the major concern. Nobody should sleep. So we had to see to it that nobody sleeps through the program. And so the various themes that, the titles that came up were the cosmic journey and the life beyond Earth. And after that, I joined. After I joined, I had the fortune of working with him on these subjects: eclipses, comets, constellations, Galileo, and celestial fireworks. All these programs were very, very popular. And for each one of them, separately cartoons were made, artworks were made, music was specially composed. And we added video projectors, and as the technology improved, we went on adding more and more devices so that the whole program becomes very attractive. The two programs which he put in a lot of effort and produced were Albert Einstein and Time the Eternal Stream. These two programs were really very good, and the last one, the Time Eternal Stream, had a touch of philosophy also and a lot of scope for humor. So as we have been listening from morning, humor was an inseparable part of any activity that we did, and that showed up in all these things. So for all these things, we had to create separate visuals, special effects, cartoons, artworks, videos, and music, and each one of this was a great lesson for us, and we sat with him. He would not let any concept go without a visual, without the aid of a visual or a corresponding music. Even his knowledge of music in these things, especially for Albert Einstein, I learned some ABC of Western music from him because I used to discuss with him about the music part. And then he told us the secret of success. That is, the opening of the program should be very grand and the end should be memorable. This was the thing. But then he added, as usual, you should be as close to each other as. So this is the way we talked in the course of the thing, because we first would produce the program and then fine tune the language and the words, and we used to have fun, especially when we had to transfer them into Kannada. So in the process of translation, we had a lot of scope for discussion, go back to the English and correct it correspondingly, and it was really a great fun to make these programs with him. And we came across many these kinds of words which were coined by him during the course of these kinds of discussions. And morning itself we heard some ASS and things like that. My name is BSS, so he had told me that he was looking for an ASS before BSS joined. And that did not happen because after me a CSS joined. Okay. So this one was don't discuss and delay, decide and do. This was one of the things because we would act on it. And then this is the acronym he used for the newspaper. This is the newspaper. And then we also had opportunity to introduce cartoons and things. So a mule driver becoming an astronomer. So this was a standard thing he would mention in his talks also. And then he said he would like to introduce the Converse, but he didn't get an opportunity for that. And then he also, this was another sentence that was there in our script. He said that supernovae were discovered by great astronomers like Galileo and Kepler. And then the sentence continued. Since then we haven't seen supernovae. And so when actually this was translated into Kannada, it conveyed a completely different meaning. So we had a lot of fun discussing about this. What will it convey to the listener, and things like this. So many sentences, the sentence should be crisp and apt. And that is the kind of message he told us. And so our planetarium programs are well received even today, and even today people remember all these scripts of the old. Now it's a great challenge for us to continue the same legacy and tradition, and then even hereafter also we have to have the same kind of language. So that's a big responsibility he has put on us. And these are the science popularization activities he initiated. So the program production itself, that is today you see that many other planetariums in India, they are buying the shows. They are buying the shows and then convert them into the local language medium and show it. And then he asked us to produce a small 5-minute capsule called the Science Watch. This was a real innovative idea. So at the beginning of every program, we would have a 5-minute capsule which would convey something new, some new discovery. For example, once we told about the comets, once we told about the discovery of asteroids, the discovery of some innovative ideas which were published in current science. So we were asked to go to meet the particular scientist, collect the relevant videos, because videos are very important. So each Science Watch capsule contains some very interesting new things, and when videos were not available, we would get the cartoons made for those things and we would show that. So that was a real new idea, and I think no planetarium had ever thought of using that medium for this purpose. And then he also told us to make posters on themes. So selected thematic poster presentations we made. And the barren land which was lying in front of the building was converted into a nice park, science park. And the initial ideas of the design and the installation and all those things, he told us how to carry on the whole thing there. And he described to us, for example, what is this anti-gravity hut? We should make one. So people who have gone to the US would have seen the mystery spot there. So he was describing that such a thing should be done. So when he told us that should be constructed, and 25 years ago we hardly understood what he said. But today it is a reality, and you can see that in our campus. So many such ideas he gave, and we have tried to incorporate all of them one by one in the science park. And the other program he suggested was the live show, Know Your Stars, which I started. And he also gave me ideas on how to make it interactive and how to make it as close to the audience as possible by introducing new ideas and making it a dialogue. So he taught me how to do that, and that program also we have been continuing. Then he collected very nice films whenever he went abroad. Sciences, for example, the Christmas series from the Royal Society. And we started screening them, using them for all our science workshops, teachers' workshops and the like. And now we have made it that every month, third Sunday, we show this science film. So that is also another very popular program. And then this is a sample artwork of Chandranath Acharya. I will quickly run through the things which are made by Puja. So this is Alexander crying that he could not, he has not crossed Indus, but his ambition was to go to the other planet in the other star. So he was the first one to think of the extrasolar planet. So this is the artwork that was created for that purpose. And then the atmosphere should be right. So this is another thing. And then search for life on Mars. Okay, so these are the type of cartoons which he gave the ideas, and Bija has prepared it very nicely. And this is to show why we are not able to hear the extraterrestrials, because all of us are talking together, or all of us are waiting for the other one to talk. Either way, this is the failure of detecting the extraterrestrials. So this is another music program we had on the night of 31st December 1999, and this also was a challenge for us to execute, and with the limited manpower and ideas that we had, we were able to do this. And now yes, I can see that. Now the non-formal educational activities, we have so many of them, and I think Vijay will cover the REAP part, but I will quickly run through the things. So this was his idea of having the base, the popularization, workshop, exhibition. So from popularization, how we should reach the research level. So he aimed at it. And in the beginning, in the year 94, 95, we had a lot of workshops, one-day workshops for teachers, because astronomy was introduced into the curriculum for the first time. But then he told me that one-day workshops will take you nowhere, so it should be a year-long procedure. And so we have all this field for children, and then that consists of only hands-on activities on science, and we have the science over weekends, wherein again activities and interactive learning here on various themes: color, water, electricity, mathematics, and so on. And then afterwards we have the REAP program, about which Vijay will tell. He is one of the beneficiaries of this program. And this review in Hindu was written by a REAP student. So REAP students not only entered into PhD, but did science journalism also. And then we had another, just a few more slides. And so this is how it began with Professor Loknathan, Professor Vishveshwara, and Iyer. And these are the various institutes and various subjects. So in the first year they learn something, second year they learn advanced topics. And then you have the projects, the students do projects in the third year. So these are some of the publications of REAP students in various journals. And Suraj Hegde's paper was particularly mentioned. This was mentioned in the talk this morning. And this is a statistics of REAP students. And yet you can see that most of them have gone for the PhD program here. And when I say not available, it means that they are still in the process of deciding where to join. They have completed their MSc NET exam, and we have lost a small number for the IT sector. And this is BioReap. This I should mention, this was initiated by him, and the first year this was initiated by Professor Saraswati herself. She took the initiative and introduced all these lectures for the biology life sciences program. Now that is also working very systematically, and that stream also has produced many students who are pursuing the PhD program. And so that is the achievement we have. We have 2.5 lakh visitors coming to the planetarium every year, out of which about 2,000 people come for the educational activities, and about 5 or 6 go to the research program. So this was what was in his mind, and we have partly achieved that, I should say. And then my personal thing, I wrote his biography in Kannada some 15 years ago. At that time, he told me about the story of what he wrote. This was mentioned by Bala Iyer this morning, so I can quickly skip through this. He said that his name would have been in the Guinness Book of Records. So this is what he said. And then he also told me about the story of first ever detection of gravitational waves in the 60s in Maryland. When I wrote this in Kannada, in the Kannada version of the biography, the editor added a footnote, because he said that just by reading this, people will not understand what he is trying to say. So there is a footnote as to what is the meaning of that. And then the story, I have written down the story as he told me. I have missed the name of the person who did this. So as a graduate student, I spent several evenings, rather nights, at the university computing, calculating, buried in a large pile of volumes. My only companion was another experimentalist who was trying to detect gravitational waves in the adjoining room. I suppose some of you know who this person was. We had a visitor at that hour. He was the security guard. He would walk into my room, inquire about my virtual sweetheart, because I think he was not yet married at that time, and pity her. Or he would talk about sports, politics, and the like for a few minutes before proceeding on his rounds. Then one fine day, we had this sensational news. The instrument in the adjoining room had detected gravitational waves at midnight as anticipated by the designer. Not one pulse, but 2 pulses, one after the other, and they repeated approximately at the same hour for a few nights. So now he tells me what is the truth. My friend, the security guard, came, sat as usual after hitting the long stick in his hand on the ground. That was the first pulse. After his talk, he got up, hit the long stick on the ground again just before leaving. That was the second pulse. he enacted this and showed it to me. So that I had the opportunity of learning about this infinite redshift and other things through him firsthand, because I had to write about all that in Kannada. He went through the Kannada script, and I think he was satisfied with the way that I wrote, so that's a great compliment for me. So this particular story was not included in the Kannada version because they did not like the whole thing. They did not understand the meaning. This was 15 years ago, but today I think they would have put it up. So that's it. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Shylaja. Are there any quick questions to Shylaja? If not, let's continue with